was Alligator Auschwitz.
To talk about that detention facility amidst quite a bit of controversy, but
can you explain why Democrats passed this shit on foreign? Democrats didn't pass it. It passed in the Senate with all Republican support. It initially in the House, did it get any Democrat support in the House? I think like maybe a couple, but this is in the Senate. It did not need Democrat votes to pass in the Senate. It just needed a majority.
But while he addresses the media at this roundtable, he also spoke about current breaking news, and that is the fact that the Senate passed his so-called big, beautiful bill. Here's what he had to say.
I just heard that about the Senate, and the bill just passed, and it tells you there's something for everyone. I mean, it's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
And just to be clear, on the Medicaid cuts, you've promised not to cut Medicaid, said this is all just targeting waste, fraud, and abuse. Are you saying that the estimated 11.8 million people who could lose their health coverage, that is all waste, fraud, and abuse?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be a very much smaller number than that, and that number will be waste, fraud, and abuse. And if you look, they took a much more liberal stance on the
51-50, 3 Republicans voted no. Vance was the deciding vote. I have such a big headache. I have to grab a pill real quick.
Medicaid situation than they could have. They had a tough stance and a weak stance. They took not a very strong stance on that to start off, and it's waste, fraud, and abuse, and everybody wants that covered.
What number is that? What analysis are you seeing?
I'm not seeing a number, but I know it's much less than the number you gave, and we really were very, very cognizant of 3 things. Social Security, we're going to take care of it beautifully. Medicare and Medicaid, and we are going to save it, whereas the Democrats are going to, you won't have it. They will destroy Medicare and Medicaid, and they have to because their numbers don't work. So it's not going to happen. They're the ones that have destroyed Medicare. They have made it so bad already, they're going to make it a lot worse, but now we'll be in charge, so we're going to have no problem with Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
Claire Gall with Wink News in Fort Myers. What is your direction to ICE when it comes to arresting farm workers here illegally, other workers in industries that are pretty critical to Florida's economy?
Yeah. Well, we're very much cognizant of that. And as you know, I won the farmers by 92%, and I'm not going to be abandoning my farmers. We were strong on the borders, but we're also strong for the farmers and for others in the hotel industry, et cetera. You know, we have
in the House vote, all Dems voted against, 2 Republicans voted against, 1 rep voted present, 2 reps didn't vote. Notably, one of those 2 is the guy who fell asleep on the House floor and missed the vote. When he says he's going to help out the farmers, he's also lying once again, because mass deportation means eviscerating a big chunk of the labor in the farms, a big chunk of the labor in the hospitality business, a big chunk of the labor in the restaurant business, a big chunk of the labor in the construction business. When he says he's going to help out farms, he means the farm owners, but even then, those are the people who are pushing back against these kinds of mass deportation policies. A lot of people don't understand that Texas, back in the day, used to have literal gangs that would hunt down marshals that were trying to implement Operation, I won't say the word,